Thank you so much. So the topic for today is thinking raw. Uh, Looking at this, most of you might get a lot of questions. Uh, what exactly is thinking raw? Why should one really think raw? Am I not thinking raw already? And more importantly, how is this related to product management? Most of these questions are important, and so keep those questions alive as we move on to the presentation. How many times as a product manager did you ever think that the developer is not able to understand or think in terms of customer value? Or at the same time, as a developer, did you actually think that the product manager is unable to understand the architecture related issues? I've asked this question to many people many times, and most often I get to hear that the answer for this question is it happens all the time, where I'm actually discussing a particular idea, and someone else will actually interpret it in a complete different way, and they are in a complete different zone altogether. So why don't you start, I think coming into my zone? Why don't you interpret in this particular way so that there is an overlap, and I think you start to understand what I want to say. And if you understand, if you did observe, I was trying to diagrammatically represent what I was trying to talk, and I was taking an analogy. Is taking an analogy all about thinking raw? Most of the times we do get an idea. It could be a very raw, basic idea. And the more we research, the more we try to spend time, we start getting more clarity on the thought. And slowly the idea evolves. And finally, we get to build a full-fledged idea. Then, is thinking raw all about spending more time on a particular idea? How often have we seen when a doctor tries to communicate to another doctor, so we don't usually understand what they talk, so they have to convert that into a layman language, which will help us understand what they really meant, and without which we won't be able to get what exactly do they want to convey. Is thinking raw all about just simplified communication? Well, we have been asking so many questions about thinking raw, and before we try to understand what thinking raw is all about, let's discuss a bit on the word thinking in itself. As a human being, it's practically impossible, for our mind to stop thinking. Human mind thinks all the time. Even during your sleep, it actually thinks. On an average, human mind thinks of around 50 to 80,000 thoughts a particular day. And it always thinks. Now, I think it brings more curiosity that what exactly is the human mind thinking? But before that, let's try to jump on how exactly is the mind doing this process of thinking. Let's take an example. How many of you know this person? Yes, he's Srinivasa Ramanujan. If someone doesn't know about him, he's a renowned mathematician back in India during the British rule of India, with no formal education, whatsoever. He started doing a lot of substantial contributions to number theory in finite series. He's also known as the man who knows infinity. With no education, on this particular approach, how did he start thinking, or how did he go to become, the fellow of the Royal Society at a very young age? And how did he solve certain questions which were considered as unsolvable? How many of you know that most of the times he was asked a question, he would come with an answer straight away? And to prove what he's actually, answered, it used to take months together for other mathematicians to even solve. Can you actually just think what was his answer when someone asked him, how did you come at this answer? Yes, this is correct, but we need to follow a process of putting forth a a theorem? How did you think, how can you derive this? You know what his answer was? He used to just, sit in front of goddess Mahalakshmi, the idol, and he used to sit and pray. He used to ask himself a question. And the moment he asks a question, he said he starts receiving visions of pure mathematical content, which starts unfolding in front of him. And, he starts running and, I think writing it down. And the moment he asks a question, he starts praying and he starts getting the answers. For him, any equation means nothing, or, until it expresses a thought of God. Isn't it intriguing? So is there something magical about his thinking? Everybody knows Albert Einstein, but what is he actually known for? Visualization. When given a problem, the way he sits and visualizes the particular problem is what differentiates Albert Einstein from everyone else. I think he always says, I never came upon any of the discoveries of mine without the process of rational thinking. And what he says is, we cannot solve problems with the same thinking that we actually used when we created them. And how many of you know that Einstein used to visualize everything, where the moment he looks at a clock, he starts visualizing that he's sitting in a train which goes at the speed of light, and how does the light ray reach me? He starts visualizing all this. And very often he actually takes breaks from his regular work to play the violin. And more importantly, what he says is like the way in which he can take these unrelated things, like whether it is art, whether it is music, whether it is these raw ideas and thoughts, he starts blending all together, and he sees there is some relation between all of them. And that's how actually he starts coming out with new ideas. What exactly is his process of thinking? Is visualization all about thinking raw? We all know Beethoven. Yes, he is one of the most admired composers. And but I think what makes him special is he started looking at music as patterns. And what he says is that there are a set of rules, and it makes me simple for understanding how this music is interpreted by everyone else. I'm able to think how this music can make sense for someone, and let me start composing in that particular way. What's his process of thinking? He often used to, go on long, vigorous walks, and all he does is and the most important thing is he composed music even when he lost the ability to hear. So how can one actually compose music when he can't hear himself? What he said was, music is a language, and which has a set of rules. The moment I can think, my mind can think and interpret each and every note as a particular rule of how this links with the other note, I'll be able to go ahead and just write music. Is he again taking an analogy over here? All we have seen so far is throughout this particular examples, we have seen that each one of them started thinking different. The way they could actually think, the way they could see things differently. Often we feel the moment you ask a question to someone, people look at questions as blockers. The moment you ask a difficult question, people feel that till I find an answer, I'm stuck. That's a very bad notion. That's a very different notion altogether. The moment you have a question and there is some destination as an answer, and you don't know what exactly that is all about, you go about to collect information. And the more you start collecting information, you are actually clueless as to, with every step I take, am I actually moving towards the solution, or am I actually still stuck somewhere? How do you evaluate that? From the time I get a question, and from the time it could be a problem statement, so in our day-to-day lives as a product manager, when I get a problem statement, which is a question, how do I then collect this information, and how do I start evaluating if I'm progressing towards the answer? What if there is a way in which I know that I'm able to progress towards, the answer, and I can start ignoring all the other data points and know that I can actually start moving forward. The moment I have a question, there is a trigger. Every question creates a trigger. And accordingly, to answer that, we go about to find an answer to that. And in this process, we actually reach another state. From there, we ask something else as a question and we start moving forward. Yes, what are the triggers here? The questions in itself. So every time I ask a new question, and if it's the right question, I start progressing forward, and thereby I get to understand or reach a particular solution. Asking the right questions, can really help you think raw, and it actually leads to progress. How many of you know this company called Cadbury? Yes, we all had chocolates, when we were kids. Let me talk about a use case back in India during the 1990s when Cadbury was in a particular problem where their market share was always stagnant. It was not growing. Yes, I think the scenario was that chocolates were meant for kids, and even most of their communication strategy was in such a way, it was positioned in such a way that let me bribe children the moment they achieve something. Let me give them a chocolate. So it was always targeted towards kids. And at the same time, the moment kids grew up, and the moment they actually, crossed over the age of 12, you see a downward trend of the consumption in chocolates. Now, Cadbury approached agencies like Ogilvy and Mather, and Piyush Pandey, that time when he was in charge of this, he actually tells us that this is a unique problem, and the more you want to increase the consumption, we need to come out with ideas. How do we start thinking of an idea in this scenario? Maybe you can take a pause and just think for a minute of what could Ogilvy Mather in that particular point of time sit with the brand manager and think of a solution. What were their thoughts all about? And how is it linked to thinking raw? Take a minute and maybe you can think. Now, at this particular point of time, all they knew was I have a set of user base, which is kids, and they have a particular consumption limit. If I ask them to eat more, it will degrade their health. It will create health problems. It will spoil their teeth. So it's not recommended, like you eat after, a particular point of time, you can't take more. Then how do I increase my sales? It boils down to a very simple raw thought, which is, yes, kids are eating chocolates and adults don't eat chocolates. What if adults eat chocolates? That's a simple question which they asked them. And they said, what's stopping adults from eating chocolates? They have a perception. How can we change this perception? Let us try to put a communication strategy. Cadbury at that particular point of time brought in number of campaigns, and their positioning was bang on, where they sent across the message that even adults can have chocolates because there is a kid in everyone. They did multiple campaigns, and through this particular approach, they really achieved 70% growth in sales. Everything boils down to one simple raw thought of kids are eating, adults are not eating. Can adults eat? Let me again ask a question to you. Imagine I'm a layman where I've never used a smartphone. I know that there is a smartphone in your hand. So I know that you actually use the smartphone for making calls, and you also use something called as WhatsApp. And I don't know what is WhatsApp. Can someone help me understand what is WhatsApp? Take a minute and you can pause the video and you can think and answer for yourself. How will you be able to explain someone like Karthik, who doesn't know what WhatsApp is all about, who doesn't know what a smartphone is all about? He knows there is a device in your hand. Without using any jargons or terminology, how can you actually help me understand what is WhatsApp? Let me try to answer that. How do we then really take WhatsApp as an example and explain it to someone who doesn't understand technology without using any of these jargons? As product managers, every day we tend to talk about raw thoughts, ideas, consumer insights. How do we then, I think, build features out of this? How do we then start communicating this to most of maybe the technology team, maybe the marketing team, maybe the strategy team, maybe the UI UX? How do I start talking to each of them? And how do I then communicate? How do we look at WhatsApp? Here this conversation. If I were to explain you WhatsApp in raw terms, if I can think raw, I am sitting in a particular room and a person A has come into the room. I'm talking to him. He's also replying to me. What I told him is, hey, why don't you look at this particular image? This is a photo I took recently. And he also gave me some photos of his. I was looking at all the photos. In between, he left this room and went into another room where there were a group of 5 people. And he started talking to everyone. All of a sudden, he wanted to listen to what all of them were talking till by the time he reached that particular room. So he could get to hear everything that everybody were talking till then, and then he continued talking to them. And after a particular point of time, he took someone from that room into another room and he started talking to him. And later, when he came back to this room where I am actually sitting, he again would get a chance to understand what was my reaction to each of the photos which he actually put in front of me. And he actually could see all that information. What was I actually doing? What am I actually trying to explain over here? I'm able to see WhatsApp as a feature or a functionality of how I could be able to visualize this, with an analogy of how a consumer is currently doing. Now, imagine I would want to add a new feature. Can I translate that, visualize that, and see how it actually looks like, and then go back and communicate this back in raw terms so that everybody will understand? Instead of me sitting and thinking like, yes, there is scope for market to do this. Maybe this is the approach. Can I start explaining that in raw terms so that everybody is on the same page, and then they could go back and do their respective work in their particular expertise? Let me take another example. Imagine the strategy of your company. Hypothetically, if you are a product manager for Facebook, imagine there is a strategy where you're asked to change the way social media works. If you're asked to revolutionize the way social media works, where do you start? How do you go about this? How does Thinking Raw help you come out with a product strategy or a product roadmap which will help you understand how you could look at a particular problem statement and how you could go about approaching that particular problem? As a product manager of Facebook, when I want to really change the way social media works, let me take a look at how social media actually evolved over years. Back in late 90s, when internet was very nascent and new, people started thinking about Messenger. Yahoo Messenger was one of the ways in which people used to communicate. It was the first time they could virtually connect with someone, and the moment they start typing, they're able to send messages to everybody. That was really fascinating for customers. Now, this was never experienced by them before, and they started doing it. The moment it, but people are used to talking, face to face and do more of face to face communication. And the moment it comes to Yahoo Messenger, when they were asked to do messaging, they started reading messages. Now, what they inculcated as a habit is they started reading those particular messages they received through the voice of the other person sitting on the other end. They were able to virtually understand or think or build this virtual feeling of this person is currently shouting at me. This person is really trying to talk in a normal tone. They were able to add that virtual element to this particular message and go about and understanding that particular message. This went on. Now, this particular ability to communicate through text messages was in a way limiting their ability to virtually start communicating to people. This went on to become video calls. This went on to become, what if I want to communicate with everyone at the same time? Can I build a community? That's when social media platforms start coming into picture. And the moment somebody puts a photo, they go back visiting every single hour to check if there is any reaction from anyone. So they started deriving happiness, virtual happiness, through the way in which they started getting reactions on their particular photos as comments or likes. And even till today, that's one of the driver for most of them to start sharing content, to see how much is this content being accepted. Now, we have reached a particular point where social media currently means certain things. Maybe Facebook as a platform. Now, if the question is, how do we then revolutionize the way social media works? Should I start looking at customers and see how they're currently doing? Should I start looking at the platform and see what exactly is currently happening on the platform? How do I then look at each of these data points and start translating that into putting the lens of thinking raw as to what these current data points are, and how do I start coming out with some features, or how do I know that I'll prioritize one over the other? How do we then go about and try to solve this? Let's take Facebook. What is currently happening on Facebook? Although there are multiple possibilities of trying to address this particular question, let's take an example of what's happening on Facebook today. I go and make a post. I can look at that as I went and maybe wrote a piece of note on a paper and I put it somewhere. People all over the world are actually putting comments on that, sharing, whether they liked it or and their reactions on top of it. So on this paper, on this piece of paper where I wrote a particular post and put it on the table over here, I see people coming all over the world to this particular table to take a look at what's written on this paper and physically put what their reactions are, and physically write a piece of note and put it over here, and they go back. Let me try to understand what exactly is happening over here. Yes, I could take an analogy of what's post and what's the feature, what's the feature behind the post and the commenting and what a consumer behavior over here is. But however, I've translated with an analogy of like this particular thought into a raw thought of how does that represent when I translate into a piece of paper where I write something on top of it, and people come and they put their comments over here. That is fine. But however, if I want to start changing that, or how do I then think raw and come out with a solution which will revolutionize the way social media works? How do I start adding new features? How do I ideate? Let's take an example. In this particular scenario, what exactly is happening over here? A customer is coming to view this particular post, and at that particular point of time, imagine the post is I am wishing someone on his birthday. Then there is another post which is I posted about my webinar on Product School as one of the other posts. Then I posted about maybe the award I received in chess competition. The moment I come onto a particular post as a user, the moment I see a post on a birthday, my mind will start thinking in terms of whose birthday is next, I think whose birthday is coming. And the moment I jump onto this particular idea where I think Karthik's birthday is coming, then my mind will start thinking of, I recently spoke to Karthik about something on chat. Let me just go there and, like maybe just type something for him. If imagine you take this post of, myself posting a webinar on that I've done with Product School as a part of a post. The moment I see this, maybe a mind will think of what are the other webinars available on product management. So there is a huge scope to not just restrict people to one single post. Instead, there is huge scope to expand this, and start showing relative, recommendations of similar to as a mind thinks. Now, can we bring in that feature? Now, that will really help me easily navigate because that's how my mind thinks. That could be a very good feature. Now, can that really change the way the current social media works? Yes. Now, looking at all this, if I start looking at maybe customers, if I start looking at maybe the platform, if I start looking at data, I may not arrive at, a conclusion, or I may not arrive with new ideas. Whereas if you start thinking raw and asking the right questions, you can always start progressing towards a solution. Thinking raw really helps us. Isn't it fascinating to see how different teams in a particular company like a UI UX, marketing, technology, strategy work towards a common problem, which is what's the current customer's problem? But we should say that it's an ever-changing customer problem. The reason being, what a customer wants today, maybe he doesn't want that tomorrow. It keeps changing. Now, when every single department, like a UI UX who is more focused on, I can come with a very good design, but what is the problem I need to solve? And there are so many problems. So which is the problem I need to prioritize? Whereas a marketing team says, I can bring in the right traffic to your website. I can bring in the right, I can redirect them the right way and understand what exactly they are looking at currently. But which is the problem we want to solve currently? A technology team will say, tell me a problem, I'll give you a solution. In this particular way, understanding which of the customer problem we will solve and how do we prioritize that is something which leads to a particular roadmap. So if a product manager who is actually currently trying to understand each of these problem statements and understand in an incremental fashion, how can I build these features which will help me come out with a roadmap which will not just solve the customer problem, but also help us create more value. Thinking raw really helps product managers to actually build a framework around ideation, building a roadmap, and even progressing forward. So next time when you're actually stuck with a particular question, start asking the right questions so that you'll start moving forward, and thinking raw can actually help you ask the right questions and keep moving forward, and questions are no more blockers. So continue thinking raw. Thank you.